Moonbase EC tub. This is like a perfect condition vintage Ace sci-fi. What did you like about this book, Russell?
It reminded me of the Twilight Zone, the TV show from the 50s.
Yeah.
With Rod Serling.
Their budget didn't take them on too many adventures, but they were in a lot of military sci-fi labs and stuff. I like how the brain's like hooked up to that glass box, like with the VCR under it. So we went through the box. Well, at least Russell did. I didn't see all of it, but he's got a little stack here that he's interested in. Start with Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow by Howard Fast. It's a Baton book.
Bantam.
Bantam book. It's according to the back, it says it's a way out around the fringes of consciousness. How Fast found some ideas that were too bold and terrifying for the here and now. They leaped the barriers of time and imagination and found their place in some of the most startling, provocative science fiction stories ever written here in time, space, and the galaxy.
Wait, so it's not just one story, that's also an anthology of different stories?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see it. Brilliant stories of science fiction. Oh, okay. Interesting. Great little cover there. Well, now that a lot of these old perma books and signet books from the 40s and 50s are getting like near 80 years old, finding a lot of them are starting to fall apart. They just weren't manufactured as well as the ones post 1950s, post 1960s. But the binding is just falling apart with some of these, and whole sections are coming out. So we got to keep a rubber band on this.
A Del Rey book. E. Hoffman Price, Operation Exile. The North American Imperium was in tatters, and Rod Garvin held its future in its hands.
I love that. It's like the desert landscape with the glass domes, and then the space shuttle hovering over it.
It looks kind of like the moon, the way it looks. Like there's mountains on a moon,
Yeah.
and the glass domes are where people can live.
If it wasn't red, it's almost like Mars. But then it says North American Emporium was in tatters. So it must be like Southwest America, New Mexico, Arizona desert type.
Right, where parts of the earth were burned and then they had to shoot themselves out into like Mars or on the moon and deal with that theory like from the old TV series Odyssey 2001.
What about Space Odyssey 1999? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
This is from the mid-60s. This is a Peacock book now, a division of Penguin, if I'm not mistaken. And they only published these in Australia and the UK. To Spare the Conquered, Stephanie Plowman. See the watercolor painting right there. Did you read what this is about? It doesn't even have a back summary. Looks kind of Crusade times.
Yeah,
possibly.
it looks kind of historic. 40.
Okay.
25.
This is by Arthur Koestler, a nonfiction. I got this at the thrift store yesterday. About the early ancestry of the Jews, called the 13th Tribe. And in his historical research, he finds that instead of being related to the ancient Semites, that's thought to believe, According to his research, they come from the Cathars. And during the Dark Ages, the Khazars, not the Cathars, which is like the alternate Christian monks from back in the day, but the Khazars from the Dark Ages time, and their exodus when they converted to Judaism. So it's about a $12 to $15 book. It's in pretty good condition. It's from Popular Library, and it looks very rich in content. I'm definitely going to read some of it.
Now, I've already got this one from Josh, but
Really?
I'm going to get it again.
Wow.
Because I like this book and I like the cover. You know, Signet back in the day did a lot of good science fiction novels for back in the day. And most of them are tattered and torn apart because they were read so much. So very rarely do you see a good one with a good bind, good condition, and it's a good storyline.
So you're upgrading again.
Yes.
Interplanetary Warfare. The Black Amulet, Don Tracy, Pocketbooks one. So this is like a slave girl. It doesn't have the plot on the back, does it?
Yeah.
Okay, read it for
The
us.
Black Amulet belonged to Alec, son of Brood, king of the Picts. He had found it as a child in the ruin of the old tower, and he always wore the flat oval stone, glistening black and intricately carved with ancient writing on a leather thong about his neck.
That's how it describes the sack.
Yes.
So he kept it in a thong,
Well,
wrapped up in a thong. I get it. The terminology.
Yeah.
It's become thong nowadays, like the thong song. But
Yeah.
back
It's
in the
not
day,
that.
it
It's
was
not
more
that
for-
kind of thong.
It was
Okay.
more like transportation of an item.
Alec believed
like a
that
sack.
the talisman controlled his fate and that of his people by assuring the birth of a male heir who would inherit the throne. But in the end, it was not Alec, but Britta, the mysterious slave girl, who, having gained the amulet, altered the course of Pictish history.
That's kind of strange to me. It's written by a man probably from the 50s, this pocketbook looks like, or maybe from the 60s, and it's like a woman who ends up being the hero in this.
I think
She
this
must have
was
some sort of...
this was the era when it was back in the day where the women were trying to still get out of the thought that they were, you know, that the men did the work and the men were the kings and all that kind of stuff. So this is another thing that would keep women out of that kind of a thing.
And they have her in a slave subservient position, so I don't know how she must have like some sort of sorcery prowess. What you looking at, Russell?
He died and lived again to find
Jesus?
he owned the world. Charles Eric Maine.
Oh wow, he died and lived again to find he owned. That's weird. How's a dead man inherit the earth? Only in
time
science.
travel.
Only in science fiction.
Yeah. Where in a book all things are possible.
That's a really old Avon one.